Hey there, this is Ben from Benzo Chess here with another video, and this is on how I won with the classical Dutch defense and the way I play it. Here is my game against Oro. I can't even pronounce his name. It's you get these crazy screen names on either chess.com or Lichess, and this game's from chess.com, but I brought it over here because I actually like Lichess a little bit better when I analyze games. So, okay, so here's my game from last year. The first move is d4. I'm playing black here, as you can see, d4, e6. Typically, a lot of people do play f5 first, but I try to avoid a couple other openings. And plus, I don't mind playing 1e6 because if they try to trick me with e4, well, I'm not really being tricked. I play the French defense, so I actually invite e4 because I play d5. So if you want to play the classical Dutch, you can play 1e6 and be comfortable with the French also. That's my suggestion. Or just go ahead and play f5, but you're going to play against other variations in the future. But enough blabber, bubble, I'm talking a lot. Okay, so d4, e6, c4, f5. You want to play the delay version of it. And if you played f5 right away, there's another opening that they play bishop to g5 right away. I play this to annoy Dutch players. So with e6 first, you kind of avoid that play. Okay, so after knight to f3, I play knight f6. I'm playing waiting moves, and I typically play this a lot, play here and castle, but I'm kind of seeing what they're going to do. And as soon as they play e3 here, I know I want to play this pawn push here and bring my bishop here. That is what you normally do, as I learned from Grandmaster Simon Williams. So b6, his bishop came out, and my bishop came out. So, and his bishop's not active on this diagonal, so I'm going to make mine active. Okay, now he brought his other knight out there, and a lot of times I try to wait and hope that he plays that soon enough so I can bring my bishop to pin his knight. And usually I like to trade this bishop for his knight. That is a goal. Doesn't always happen, but that is a goal I like to play. And anytime they try to kick your bishop off, take and double his pawns up. Okay. So next is castling is very good. And hopefully bring this knight here, rook here, and maybe sacrifice. That is the goal. That is the goal. And if you have to play waiting moves, you can push his pawn here or push his pawn here. Sometimes I have to play waiting moves. Okay, so he also castles, and I play e4 so I can get that rook lifted right here. Okay. You play bishop b2. It's kind of a waiting move for him. I was putting pressure there. I was hoping his queen goes there. I move my rook up. He plays his knight there. Okay, I want his knight to go back. So I'm pushing my pawn right there, which is a very good move. And he has to move his horse back somewhere. So usually that's a good move. But sometimes players like to move it right back, which is not the greatest move. Because if they play it here, they can actually get their bishop out here and trade off bishops. But I go ahead and move my rook over to add pressure on that pawn. Now, he played a4. I have to think of a waiting move. So I just play my other knight out. Knight to d7. because I want to try to get this sacrifice going on here and go for a checkmate. That's my goal. But in order to do this, we got our setup right now. What we want our queen here, or even here. But we can keep where the queen's at. We want this rook here. We want this knight here. Eventually he'll be moving and this bishop on this diagonal. And the main goal here is, well, you already know what to sacrifice, but at the right time. So this knight can stay here. We need this bishop to be over here, or just not on this diagonal, okay? Not on this diagonal at all. We don't need that bishop there. And if we can get both the bishop and this queen on this diagonal instead, then we got a checkmate pattern right now. I mean, if they were both over there right now, we can go for this simple sacrifice and go for checkmate. And then it'll be lights out. You could also have just a queen on that diagonal and go for it. Even if the queen went over here, you can still, well, you can't go for checkmate, but you can win material. So those are some key ideas. And while you're waiting for that, sometimes you can play, little moves like here, try and play waiting moves, maybe queen here. Just trying to get those waiting moves if things are not working out. Otherwise, if things don't work out, then you have to go for the center. So there's plenty of weaknesses there too. Okay, going on with the game. They played a5 and I played a6. This is a blitz game. I don't know if that's the best move. So it was a waiting move because I want to go for the checkmate. As you know, pawn took, and I'm going to take back. I could take back with the knight too, but I took back that way. Actually, with the knight, it does add a little pressure. Probably the only problem is this pawn will be pushed. Okay. Now the next thing is queen c2, which we wanted. We wanted those two light square pieces off that diagonal and over here. That helps us. Okay. We played a5. It's a waiting move. We just want the other bishop there. And there we go. An absolute blunder. Once you get those two pieces there, it is going to be a checkmate pretty quickly. My first move was knight there. I could also go for sacrifice. It's either there or even a sacrifice first. They both work. But this knight move, well, it's probably better knight here, because then you have the fork. And then the queen's going to be forced to take that way for sure. Or even if this pony jumps back here and takes, well, then that's really bad. Then you're just going to have a rook takes checks, being protected by the light square bishop on b7. And then you can eventually just take back here and just create havoc. But he still took. This probably would have been better for him to push. So after he took, now I can go for collateral damage by rook sacrifice. You would think I would take the knight and get a free piece, but no. I'd rather just give up pieces. He takes back, and then bam, queen checks. And a lot of times your opponents are like, oh, I'm going to take your queen. Wait, I can't. Why is that? And then it takes them a minute to figure out, oh, I'm pinned. So after his king moves, well, if his king moves over here, you take with the bishop and it'll be checkmate. And since he moved there, simply just moving the queen there, and it's checkmate. But going with another idea, and this is just an idea, after the bishop moves there, well, I'm trying to get the idea, what if this queen was right here, okay? So I'm just playing a couple waiting moves here, like a4 is right here. After a4, let's say bishop takes, queen moves there. You can still go for this. Well, you can't do it when there's a light square bishop here, because it just screws everything up. But if you had a queen here instead of bishop, you can win material. by still taking. King takes, checks, being pinned down, and after the king moves, note that if he moves there, you have checkmate. So you just move the queen up here, and you threaten to take here with a fork and winning the queen. Rook comes over, but it doesn't matter. You get the bishop taken for a fork. The queen takes, and then you got a check. Rook comes there, and you're up in material. If you look at it, we got rook for rook. Subtract those, it's even. Subtract these two, it's even. You're definitely up a queen for a rook. And that is definitely worth it. So the key ideas in making that attack work is making sure, we're going to go all the way back, is getting these two guys, the light square bishop and the queen, on this diagonal here. If they're both on that diagonal, then you just got this successful attack. Sacrifice, queen jumping in. But if you had them both there, or even just the bishop alone, the attack is not as great. So, well, that is how I won with the Dutch classical variation. There's many other games. This is the most common way you can win. And if this strategy did not work, and if they kept their bishop here, then you want to go for attacking one of these guys somehow. Maybe putting pressure just on this pawn. Okay, so thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos on probably the classical Dutch, the French, the queen pawn opening, also the bird, some endgames and tactics, or any other videos. Leave them your suggestions in the comments and I'll definitely read them. Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the next video.